Hey everyone, Travis here. Day 2, Week 8 of the LCS sponsorship coverage provided by Toshiba, joined by Xpecial of TSM. You guys are now, what, 3-0 for this week?
Yeah, we're 3-0 right now.
So, are you guys going to go 4-0?
Hopefully. We're playing against XCG. They're kind of 8th place right now, and we're not. So hopefully we have a good chance of beating them. I mean, we just can't underestimate them. Play well, and we should be okay.
You guys are doing well despite not having Bjergsen around. Does this mean that Bjergsen is unnecessary to your team?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're getting Bjergsen back. We keep him injured for like ever. So I mean, we didn't tell him yet, but I think we'll have to tell Bjergsen after tomorrow.
He can just see this interview, and that's how he'll find out.
Right, that's fine too. Just link it to Twitter.
Now, I was reading Twitter literally moments before this interview, and I saw a tweet from you that said that Leona versus Morgana is a fun matchup, but that Leona has the advantage. Yesterday, I interviewed another support of a rival team that you beat today, named Aframu of CLG, and he actually felt as though Morgana was a excellent counter to Leona because Black Shield is OP. So, do you disagree with that, or is it like depending on the situation? Generally, what are your thoughts on that matchup?
So Morgana has the advantage overall, but Leona has the advantage in that if she goes in and she plays it right, or Morgana screws up, then she can get a kill. Versus Morgana, she can't really kill Leona. Okay. So that's where the advantage comes in for Leona, where just one mistake, one good play, and you can win the lane. Where Morgana, not so much.
So perfect world scenario, Morgana comes out, but in practical real world scenarios, like it seems like it's Leona has a really good chance.
Right. It also depends on the AD carries too. Longer range AD carries tend to have the advantage in the lane, so it depends on that.
One of the other things he had mentioned is that he feels like Spell Thieves is going to bring into play a lot of these sort of more like mage caster supports. Do you agree with that? Do you think that we're going to start seeing a lot more, maybe even like Sona or Janna?
Yeah, of course. I mean, even before the changes, those champions were decent, but with these changes, with the extra gold, we're definitely going to see some Sona, some Zara, stuff like that. Sona maybe not so much just because she's not as reliable, but Zara is definitely still good. Janna maybe not so much just because she can't really proc the passive easily, so that's a big problem for her. But overall, I think the Poke supports should see more play.
I know that you used to play a lot of Janna. Like historically, I remember just seeing a lot of Janna from Xpecial. Do you want to see her pop back in?
I don't really care as long as I just play whoever's strong. If Janna's strong, then I'll play her. I think Leona's strong, I play her. I think Morgana's pretty decent. I should be playing her.
So you have no passion for actual champions. You just play the OPs.
Yeah, I just use and throw away and yeah, just don't think about it.
Now, I noticed before your guys' match against CLG that there was a thread up that said, like, rush our bot lane for All-Stars. And then it was just pretty much a bunch of comments about TSM versus CLG, like always. And then there was, like, a couple Coast fans or something. But I noticed that thread seemed to fall down significantly after you guys beat them. What are your thoughts on CLG and their bot lane right now?
So if the game were only about laning, then CLG's bot lane would probably be the best right now, just because they focus so much on laning. But the thing about CLG is that they're a really binary team, in that if you're playing against CLG and you're a bot laner, you're gonna know to play passive. They always camp bottom 100% of the time, and that's kind of their flaw. I mean, they're also really good at that, but proper wardage, not playing aggressive, you do fine, and then you can play for a team fight and stuff like that. That's kind of what we did. We didn't really we saw how much pressure Jarvan put bottom lane. We saw Shrana sit there for a while. Vayne was trying to gank us. It was really weird stuff. But basically, against CLG, you play passive bot and you'll win the game.
Do you think that was what it was that allowed you to win, was just that they were kind of predictable in that manner?
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of how CLG's always been. They always send the jungler bottom. For us, we don't really exactly do that, so we don't always shine in that. We don't carry the game that often. But sometimes when we do have favorable matchups and we see what the jungler is, we will play aggressive, as we saw in the EG game. We played extremely aggressive, but then once Pantheon hit 6, we're like, oh god, run away, don't die to Pantheon. So we just try to play smart. We don't really play aggressive, we don't play win lane, just play smart.
The casters have made a big point of the fact that double lift has seemed to be going more towards like a support AD carry style, as opposed to just like playing these like I don't want to say like assassinate carries or whatever, but just like these duelists, split pushing. And then we haven't really seen Turtle, like Turtle's KDA right now, I think is like twice of what Doublelift's is. Obviously, you guys have a great record, which is part of the reason. But do you think that there's like a little bit of a difference there, and that Turtle seems to be sticking more with not so many of the support 80 carries, and you see Doublelift going there? Or what do you think is sort of happening in that situation?
Well, support AD carries have higher KDAs because they tend to die less. Okay. That's just how it is, and they get a lot of assists, which are easy to get. So I mean, Turtle. I mean, he's really no longer wild. Just I mean, last game he went wild just because he got bored. I guess I don't know. He got so many kills, he just wanted to give one away. But overall, he's been playing a lot of Sivir, a lot of stuff that doesn't really carry hard. But once in a while, he does play Lucian and stuff like that, and does carry hard. And that's kind of the testament to just how good he is. He's able to play, support champions and still have an impact, but he's not really reliant on carrying the game. Like, we don't rely on him to carry the game. We just want him to go even, do well in team fights, and he does really well in team fights. He's probably one of the best AD carries in NA for team fighting.
Now, a lot of the reason I bring all this up is because there's this beginning of this discussion for All Stars, and obviously I think that you're one of the front runners for the support role. But as we saw in the thread today, Aftermoo as well, and then the same sort of this thing that's happening right now with Doublelift and Wild Turtle. I think a lot of people are saying, well, Doublelift was really strong, but maybe Wild Turtle has gotten to that point as well. What do you think of Wild Turtle in terms of maybe his viability for like an all-star position?
He's really good, and he's definitely top 2. And people often think of Doublelift and they think of he carries a lot, but I mean Turtle's really good too. At Worlds last year, when we felt that we couldn't win the game unless bot lane carried, we played extremely aggressive and we just destroyed any bot lane that we played against. We picked a favorable matchup and we just crushed. And that's just when we're forced to play aggressive, we will. And we're not scared to play aggressive. We're just scared of dying and losing a game for our team. But when that's off the table, then we play super aggressive. And for us, we just try to play as smart as we can. We try to die as little as possible. And try to have the most impact. And when the jungler is camping bottom, we don't have much impact. And that's just how it is. If their bot lane is getting jungle help, they will win. That should be the case. And for CLG, if they always camp for bottom lane, they're going to shine more.
Now, IEM Katowice is just coming up this week. Cloud9 is actually going to be going over there, and not to make so much of this interview about other teams, but it's great to have your opinion on this kind of thing. Your team probably knows Cloud9 maybe more than any of the other teams. So what do you think is their current possible potential for placing at IEM?
Well, their potential isn't as high as some other teams. I mean, C9 they're a solid team. But, I mean, when you talk about potential, they're not exactly the forerunners of that. Overall, I think they will do well. I don't think they'll win it. I hope they do well, but it's really tough. I mean, there's going to be a lot of good teams. I'm actually kind of jealous. I actually kind of wanted to go just because I like playing against international teams a lot. You just learn a lot. But, I mean, they'll learn a lot, and hopefully they'll bring some of it back and help the NA scene improve and help us improve too.
Now, TSM right now is the #1 ranked team in North America. You mentioned that you had kind of wished that you were able to go. You guys have always had a very strange relationship with international tournaments, sometimes pretty strong, other times a struggle. What do you think TSM would have been able to do had you guys gone to IM?
I think we would have high potential. We're doing really well right now. I mean, we're usually, we do really well against C9 too. And I think we would do well internationally right now. But again, I wouldn't really want to go at this moment just because we don't have Bjergsen. I'd rather be,
He's over there waiting for you.
That's true. That's one of the things we were talking about in the car yesterday. We were like, oh yeah, we just went to Katowice, whatever it is. We could have just met up with Bjergsen, yeah. Except we wouldn't have much practice and all this other not good stuff. But it would have been nice to just play internationally. But not a big deal. We're just gonna use this time to practice a lot since Bjergsen should be coming back relatively soon. Yeah. Not that mean. No, actually, he's not coming back ever. Yeah.
Screwed Bjergsen. Now. Sort of wrapping up, I do want to ask you, you mentioned that you're going to try to use that extra break of the week to practice a lot. Is there any potential that you're going to want to, take like a vacation or relax a little bit? Or are you going to use it to like buckle down hardcore and get ready for the end of the split?
Yeah, I don't really think that we have time to take a break. There hasn't been much. I mean, people have been talking about All Stars and stuff like that, but people don't really know what it actually is going to be. And for some of the pro players, we have a general idea. And we think that All-Stars might have a higher impact for the teams. And I think it might be really important for us to do well in the split. And we actually are taking the split really seriously. I mean, in terms of playoffs, it means a lot for us. And we want to do really well in playoffs. And we want to be able to go to All-Stars, however the format may be for that.
Interesting. All right, you have any shout-outs, plugs, anything you want to say?
Of course. Always shout out to you guys. Just, these interviews are always a treat. Camera guy more so than Travis, but, it's all right. I guess.
I miss Bjergsen.
Oh. Well, he doesn't really miss you. I'm just kidding. Anyways, big shout out to all the fans that do watch, even the 2 fans that don't watch. Just people. Big shout out to people. Big shout out to our sponsors, Solo Mid, Alienware, HyperX, and one more, which is...
I mean, you got the sleeves,
Logitech, of course. I didn't even see that.
Yeah. Flexing your muscles,
Anyways, big shout out to all of those guys. And I hope to see you guys soon. Hope we do well. And hope to see you guys at playoffs or something. I don't know. All-Stars. That'd be cool.
Just looking forward to seeing people.
I just... People. Love people.
Shout outs to people. Well, thank you so much, Xpecial, for the interview. Always a pleasure. Looking forward to seeing if you guys can lock down that 4-0 for Super Week. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of our coverage and of all things LCS and more at ongamers.com.